That's Scouts Rotary.
Kind of doing this virtually is that nobody can throw anything at you.
Yeah, well, I'm walking out on that one right now, right?
And she knows what she's talking about.
I could go to his office and throw something at him on behalf of anyone. I want to not get fired. I want to put that.
Dave, remember, I can give you some other duties if I need to.
Is that a projectile by proxy?
Yeah, I think we need to give you more assignment if you have that much free time to come throw something at me. I'm just joking.
All right, Ryan.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dennis. First and foremost, I want to thank you guys for accepting me into Noontime Rotary. It's truly an honor and a privilege. And I have to tip my hat to Miss Vicki Abbott over there because she is a bulldog through and through. And what I mean by that, not just a bulldog because of where she worked, but her tenacity in pushing me to get going on this. And so I'm really thankful for her persistence. I've always enjoyed my time stopping by on the Wednesdays. Hopefully we can get back to some face-to-face interaction because nothing really beats that. You guys are a great company to be around, always making me laugh. So thank you for that. I want to talk about kind of just who I am and why I'm here or how I got here and share kind of my professional background, but then also really ties in with my personal, and I'll explain that in a moment. I got into education kind of by happenstance. I come from a long lineage of educators. In fact, I have currently around 24 to 28 current family members that are in education, not counting the retirees. Big family, big time into education. They joke about it being our family business whenever we're at family functions. But growing up, my mom was a teacher. I thought she was crazy. She was one of my high school teachers, in fact. But I didn't have an excuse for that because her dad was her principal. So she's like, you thought you had it tough. Imagine me in high school. Wow. Right? So anyways, thought they were all crazy. Thought, how could you want to work with kids on a daily basis? I thought it was nuts. I actually wanted to be a firefighter. So I learned that pretty early on. Dedicated my life to it, actually. Once I got 16, I became an LA County Fire Corps up in Palmdale, California. That's actually where I'm from. No one knows where that is because you usually drive through it on the 14 freeway before you're heading to something better, Mammoth or something like that.
I know where it is.
But anyways, became an explorer for them. Once I graduated high school, I was accepted to a few different universities, but never really took up the chance on that because I knew I wanted to be a firefighter. So I actually went to our community college, got my AS in fire science, became an EMT, worked it for AMR while also doing ride-alongs to the fire department. Actually got hired pretty early. I was about almost 21 and actually got accepted into LA City Fire Department. Went through my medical, went through my background, actually was about to give an academy date, which is the last step, right before you start academy. And I thought I was well on my way. Of course, me being young and dumb, still racing my dirt bike, crashed and actually broke my collarbone. And luckily I had stayed in school because my mom said either you move out and get a job and pay for everything on your own, or you're staying in college. And so I, obviously stayed in college and actually have a bachelor's to fall back on. And so when the fire department put me on a 1.5-year hold for a broken collarbone, my mom was like, why don't you try teaching? I was coaching at the time, coaching for wrestling and football. And so I was like, I'll give it a shot. I like hanging out with the kids as a coach. Maybe I'll like it as a teacher. Ended up falling absolutely in love with it. Knew it was what I wanted to do. And so just started dedicating my life to that avenue. In fact, the fire department called me back, actually gave me an academy date. I actually turned it down because I knew education was where I belonged, ironically enough. And so started playing around, started taking on some other duties while coaching, and really administration just always kind of appealed to me just because of the spontaneity of it. You can come in with nothing on your plate in the day and end up, it's 4 o'clock and you didn't even realize where the day went because you're busy supporting people, you're busy putting out, so-called fires. And so really just enjoyed the aspect of administration. I had a great principal at the time. His name is Matt Anderson. Actually created kind of a so-called job for me. We didn't really have deans at the time in the district that I worked at, but kind of put me in a dean role to where I can kind of learn some of the administrative duties. And knew that's what I wanted to do career-wise. So jumped at the opportunity after a short tenure as a teacher. Actually got hired at 26 years old as a vice principal, and was well on my way. Knew I wanted to do it, got my master's, obviously, and then I moved on to get my doctorate, actually, from USC. So fight on to my Trojans. And that's actually where I met Dr. Hinman. Dr. Hinman's our superintendent at West Covina Unified. Met him at a leadership conference through USC, and got to know him pretty well. My brother, who's also an administrator, actually in Tustin Unified, works for one of Dr. Hinman's colleagues and friends, Greg Franklin. And so he had moved down out of the high desert and taken a job down in the OC, raved about it, loved where he was living. And so took up the opportunity when I talked to Dr. Hinman about leaving my roots, my deep roots in education and my personal life up in the high desert, and moved on down here and took a gamble. Actually started out as an assistant principal over at Edgewood. And then when the time came, I was graciously offered the opportunity to become West Covina High School's principal. And so now I'm in my third year, loving every minute of it. It's truly a family here. It really is a unique place to work, and love everything about it. Love everything about this community, and know that this is where I belong for sure. So kind of personal and professional tied in at the same time. I actually am I'm married with 2 kids. I have a beautiful wife. In fact, I want to see if I can share my screen because I actually have a couple of photos I want to show you guys. So Dennis, I think you have me on a spotlight video. Is there a way that I can present my screen?
Yeah, don't you still see share screen at the bottom?
No, it actually goes away when.
Well, hold the cursor down there.
Oh, there it goes. There it goes. All right. So let me see if this works. There we go. Yeah, see the photo okay?
Not yet. Oh, yes.
Okay.
There it is.
So that's my beautiful wife, who's also works in our district as a special ed coordinator. She actually works for Lori. Lori's actually her supervisor. And then my 2 amazing kids, Nixon and Nathan. They're 7 and 5 years old. They actually currently attend Orgewood Elementary right here in our amazing district. So those are my 2 boys and my beautiful wife. Kind of also want to take a moment to brag, as a proud dad, but I want to show you guys a couple photos. So big thing in our world is sports. Born and raised in sports myself. Sports is an expectation in our family, not just a want. I think it teaches you a lot about character, and you can apply a lot of things to life that you do in athletics. So it's big in our household. My boys have gotten into motocross pretty heavily. In fact, I was a little hesitant for them to get into it because of the injuries that I have sustained over my time doing it, but couldn't keep them away from it. Love every minute of it. And so we've gotten into it, especially during the COVID times, because nothing else is really open, have really been able to lean on this sport and hobby as a family. And so I want to show a couple photos of my boys. Let me see if I can get this one. My PowerPoint's not presenting. There he is. So this is my oldest son. This is Nixon. He's 7. This is actually racing in Angel Stadium. And this past January, before things closed down, he's up to 7 sponsorships, believe it or not, and actually just top 5 in his age group in the state of California at what's called mini majors that just actually happened a couple weeks ago on my birthday weekend. Was able to top 5 in the 7-8 year old division. So doing some amazing things with that. My younger boy, who I think is going to end up being faster when it's all said and done. He's a little bit more cautious type, but once he gets it, he goes. This is my younger son, Nathan. This is also racing at mini majors. He actually placed in the top 15 after having 2 crashes in the state in his age group. So pretty lucky to have the sport to lean on, and really just fortunate and really happy to have this. So it's kind of a little bit about me, and I guess I'm ready for the pitchforks and things. If anyone wanted to ask me any questions as it pertains to my life, both professionally and or personally, I'm an open book. Let's see if I can stop sharing.
Yeah, just stop sharing.
Yep, I'm trying to find it. It's kicked it over in the Zoom. I'm trying to make it big right here, and then we'll see if we can do it this way. Let's see. Why is it not bringing the window up big? Let me see.
I'll stop it.
There we go. Has it stopped sharing yet?
Yeah, I stopped it, Ryan.
Okay, good deal.
So let's bring you back to the full view so that we can all take our punches at you.
There we go. I'm ready.
Yeah, this is John Clenna. So when your kids are racing, do they chew tobacco?
No, that's a rule in our household.
It's fabulous.
Hey, Ryan, I just want to let you know that I spent 2 years of my life in Palmdale, so I know exactly where it is.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome to hear, Dennis. I don't hear that a lot from people outside of that
long,
area.
long before you were there, I'm sure.
Wait, is Palmdale in California?
Oh,
I have to explain that to people sometimes, Jim. They're actually,
Yeah, it's very close to Palm Springs.
Yeah.
Question, Ryan, with all the construction going on the campus, what are the timelines for it right now?
great question there, Dave. So our CTE building that I'm sure everyone can see going on as you drive down Cameron, it is slated to be finished in December. So that's right around the corner. I'm hoping by the time we're allowed to start having our kids back, that the building is ready to go. And then actually we're breaking ground any day here, possibly any week, on the Performing Arts Center. So the one that's going to go in where the old weight room is and 4 tennis courts. It's been put out to bid. The bids are coming back in, and so it's we're right around the corner from breaking ground in that area. So I'm really excited to get these off the ground. We've recently had a couple ribbon cutting ceremonies over at Edgewood, and man, you guys got to see our pool. It is maybe one day we could do a noontime Rotary meeting over there, Monica. We can talk to the big guy, because you guys, it really is. Words don't really do it justice. You have to walk around that facility and see it. So I'm excited to see what gets built here and what's the end product here at West Covina High School. Because if it's anything similar to that pool, it's going to be just mind blowing.
oh yeah.
Also, Ryan, now that you can, I wouldn't say recruit, but you publicize what you do for the students, and students come into your district, even though they live out of the district. What kind of publicity do you guys do to attract students that are interested in all the phenomenal things that you have to offer students?
Great question. We try and hit all fronts. I will tell you, our social media following is huge at West Covina High School. Miss Melanie Wong, our activities director, is a rock star when it comes to those things. Honestly, our following is huge. That really spreads the word pretty quick, at least for our kids of our generation. Social media is where it's at. To appeal to the families, we've actually partnered with a couple companies that help us create videos and press releases that we push out. And that's done from the district end, but we've really been doing that specifically with the Performing Arts Center. We've actually created an academy on our campus. So not just the pathway. I know I've talked about that when I've talked about the state of West Covina kind of addresses when I've come and joined you guys on Wednesday meetings. But we've actually created an academy, which is kind of like a pathway on steroids. We actually created a Performing Arts Academy. So we have instrumental music, vocal music, dance, and theater, that we're going to build a full-blown academy attached to that Performing Arts Center when it's built out. And so we've been doing a lot of advertisement for that. COVID obviously threw a wrench into some things, but we were still able to recruit quite a few kids from out of district just on the basis of offering that. So it's always something that we try and do. I think we have some of the best programs in this district for our valley. It's more just trying to get the word out. And so we've been tackling it on all fronts. We have some social media people, both at the district and the site level. And then also with these companies that we contract with to help us put that information out to the masses.
Also, it seems each school, high school, has something to offer that's special to that kid. So
yes,
I'm assuming you guys are all together on this rather than fighting. I mean, back in my day, it was Edgewood, West Covina.
Yes.
We're back tooth and nail. And,
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's been a strategic move from the district office, which I think is some of the genius behind it. Is normally you have multiple comprehensive sites, and then you kind of create like a civil war, if you will, among sites because you're advocating or fighting for the same kids. Edgewood has the IB program, right, which we do not offer, right? So that fits that type of kid that wants to pursue that. We have Mount SAC Early College Academy that has that dual enrollment program that is separate or unique from West Covina. I would say is kind of the not just the mother school because of the name and the history, but also just we kind of have the catch-all, right? We have the activities, we have the sport, we have the academic programs, we have AVID, we have AP, which is different than at Mount SAC and Edgewood. Instructionally, we also have that Performing Arts Academy that I mentioned. We have a wide variety of those CTE programs, which is the career technical educational programs on our campus. So we really try and hit the masses with West Covina High School. And that's kind of how we separate it, but definitely a coordinated effort from the district to offer unique programs at each school. So we're not really, combating each other. We're more trying to reach out to the masses outside of our district too.
That's fantastic.
Ryan, a comment and a question.
Yes, sir.
Both of our kids are West Covina High graduates. And although one doesn't live nearby, he is extremely interested in what's going on here at West Covina High. They both are, really. Now, you commented shortly ago about the new pool complex over at Edgewood.
Yes, sir.
Which, of course, my son historically is quite involved in because he was on the varsity team and he was Sierra League breaststroke champion and all that, big swimmer.
Yeah.
Now, he's going to be very interested in hearing what's going on there with respect to the new facilities. And I'm going to pass on as much as I can because both kids are glued to what's going on. They continue to be glued to what's going on at West Covina High. So, and that's really is nice. Now, my question is this. They're both alumni. Does West Covina High have, what sort of an alumni group does West Covina High have? And are there periodic get-togethers or information sharing or what?
So I am really happy that you asked that question, Ken, because that is something that we're currently in the works of behind the scenes right now. I've been meeting with Melanie Wong, who's our activities director, Brian Barnes, our athletic director. We're currently trying to create an alumni association. Okay, in a couple of different schools that I worked for in a different district, especially one that has a lot of the historic prowess that West Covina High School has. They had an alumni association, and it was to also stay in the know of what's currently going on at the school site, right? And the projects that the school is in itself tackling. And in fact, the principal would go and speak with the alumni association quite often, but also to help raise awareness to outside people as it pertained to whatever West Covina High School is doing. So I'm really happy you asked that question. We are actually currently in the process of creating an alumni association, obviously going to have a Facebook and social media things because we do have so many people that are interested, but aren't in the neighborhood, right? So it's definitely something we will be putting together and we will be shouting from the rooftops when it goes public. Okay, we're looking for some people that would want to be, those political positions that help keep it running because we can't always rely just on teachers. We talked about that a little bit before the meeting started about people moving on or moving around. So really needs to be true alumni that help us spearhead this movement.
Now, Ryan, John Clenna again. Do you have a completion date for the Performing Arts Center?
We do not have a definite date. What we have learned that none of us are construction experts, to be honest with you, is that, we run into roadblocks. Weather, for instance, I will tell you the Edgewood Event Center ended up with a lake when they were going, below ground because they have to dig out the foundation, right? And we had those massive rains a year ago. And so that put off the build of that event center by a month. Their expected completion is 22 to 24 months. Okay.
Okay, and then one other question is, I'm an alumni from West Covina. So where's the location of it? Is it where the tennis courts are right now, or?
Yes, sir. So we built out a few more tennis courts. So right now, if you drive down our campus off Cameron, you see a lot of tennis courts. So what they did is they kind of shifted. Our 5 courts that we are going to keep are closest to the stadium. There's 4 other that are more east, right? They're all down the one path. And if you ever walk on our campus, you could see where they redid the new tennis courts versus left the old ones, because those ones are going to get knocked out. So if you drive down Cameron, the weight room, which is right next to the access road, will be gone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that weight room.
And there's a portable right next to it, right before the student parking lot.
Yeah, I got it.
Gone, along with the 4 courts. This is a massive structure, over 600 person theater, along with joining classrooms that serve our performing arts. So it is going to be a massive structure.
Awesome.
Will be going into West Covina High School.
Good.
It will change
Brian.
the school down Cameron for sure.
Yeah,
Good.
Ryan, you brought that up. Exactly how many pancake breakfasts can we serve out of there?
I will tell you more than we would probably want to. That facility will be absolutely phenomenal. I can't wait. I mean, it's gonna, with Red Ribbon, and I know that's right in the backyard of where we house it. Right there is just the landscape, the feeling that people are going to get when they get to come through that access road and kind of come on our campus. We will be able to host as many things as you guys are interested in doing. The facility will be there to serve the community. I mean, that's Dr. Hinman's vision as well, is that these facilities are going to be available to our community. That is a part of it. And actually, it's going to be some revenue streams as well to then turn around and back and use for our facility, right? This theater will be professionally graded. And I mean, not just the skeleton or the building, but actually what we're putting into it as well. Will be the latest and greatest when it comes to sound technology, latest and greatest when it comes to internet capability. Our goal is to attract professional workers in the industry to come and use our facility. Just like our pool. We're hoping we get we know when the Olympics come to LA, that some of our professional teams want to use our area as a practice facility. And when you walk on that pool deck, you will see why it is completely capable of housing, that type of, demographic, if you will.
You said that you have some videos of some of these, like renditions or videos of the pool or something that you use for promotion?
I do not have the renditions. I do have photos because we got to do the ribbon cutting ceremony there, so we were able to take a photo of it. I will also tell you, photos don't do it justice. I mean, you don't really get a feeling of the size. It is absolutely ridiculously huge. Don't have video renderings of it. I'm sure Monica actually might, because I know that we made sure we covered it pretty well when we did the ribbon cutting ceremony. Yeah. But honestly, I'd rather give you guys a tour of it. It's something that has to be seen when the time comes.
I was thinking for some of the members that are interested, that are alumni, we could give them a link.
I can send you over everything I have. We took a lot of photos of it when we got to walk it. I can send it out so we can maybe push it out on a week.
Yeah, just collect it and give them a link so that they can look at what they want to look at.
I'll put something together for you.
If there's a group that wants to come and actually tour the facility, we can work with our assistant superintendent, Drew Paslakwa, to do that. He did that for the oversight committee at one time, because we do have a bond oversight committee. But Ryan's right. You really have to see it to believe it.
I've got several people who want to see it.
Yes.
Ryan, I don't think there's any interest.
I have a question for Ryan.
Yes, sir.
What's happening with athletics and COVID and all of that?
Great question, Jim. So obviously, I'm sure a lot of you guys are aware, especially being past alum, is we operate under CIF. Okay, so CIF is our governing body, similar to NCAA when it comes to college sports. So we're following their lead. Obviously, we have to also stay within our county protocol. So it's an interesting balance, right? Because CIF oversees teams and schools outside of LA County, right? And so they have different protocols, for instance, like at Orange County versus Riverside County versus LA County. So right now, I was just in a CIF meeting last week with the commissioner, Rob Wygod. They pretty much have created 2 seasons, okay? This was thought of well in advance. This was actually given to us during the summertime before we even hit, school year. is they got rid of the fall season and they moved the fall sports into the 2 new modified seasons. So essentially the 2 seasons are January to March and then in April to June. Okay. And those are going to be the 2 seasons. Now, what's going to be very interesting and challenging is one, the kids are going to have to at some point probably pick a sport when they used to be more multi-sport athletes, right? Because we're going to have basketball and baseball in the same season, right? Another challenge that's going to be is facilities, right? We only have so many tennis courts, and we're going to have to run both boys and girls tennis at the same time when normally they're at opposite ends. So that's going to be a challenge. We also, staffing. A lot of our coaches coach the opposite gender of sport, right? Like our golf coach is the same golf coach for both boys and girls. So we're going to have some challenges, definitely. We're just hoping that it happens. I mean, that's our number one. We'll figure it out for our kids because we feel like we need to offer this. But right now we're kind of at the mercy of the county and to see if it gets, lifted before January, essentially. I will also tell you, we're on the forefront. The county had released that kids can start doing exercising. Okay, we have to obviously follow a lot of guidelines, cohorts, so on and so forth. But we are actually working out. You might guys drive by the air quality permits, of course, that our kids are working out. Now it's very structured. One coach married to a certain group of kids, and that's the only group of kids that they get to interact with. Not so much of the X's and O's of sports. It's more of the working out type of piece, and they have to be outdoors. So we are definitely working out, and we're definitely doing everything that we're allowed to do. But really, fingers crossed that this gets lifted before January for our kids.
Yeah.
Ryan, this is John Clinton again. I got one more question for you.
Yes,
Sorry.
far away.
For the Performing Arts Center, it's kind of dear to my heart. So I got some questions. When you hire an administrator for the whole Performing Arts Center, does the administrator that's going to be the person running all the kids, do they have to have a teacher's degree? Do they have to be actually a teacher?
So there's going to be 2 people that's really going to come into play here. One, the person who's going to be in charge of the theater will probably be a classified. They're going to be like a director of the actual Performing Arts Center. Now, when it comes to our Performing Arts Academy, okay, we're going to probably have a coordinator that oversees the academic program. That would in fact have to be a teacher. The one that's going to oversee the actual building, right? Like making sure all the operational things are good, make sure that it's clean and presentable to whoever decides to rent it out or for our own performances, will not need a teaching credential. So it's kind of 2 pieces, even though they're kind of under the same umbrella, if you will. We're going to have the academic side, right? Which will be a coordinator. Most likely one of our current teachers that's teaching in the academy will also probably have some release time to serve as the coordinator. And then we're going to have the person that's actually in charge of the facility itself, which will not require a teaching credential.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. Makes good sense.
Okay, I think we've exhausted all the questions, and you don't look that bloody, so I think it's...
It must be because we're not in person. I didn't get any green beans from you.
Yeah. So, congratulations and welcome to the club. We're very glad we have you.
Thank you guys so much. Love what you stand for. Love that I get to be a part of it. Truly do.
Thanks very much for the presentation. You did a great job.
Yes.
Appreciate it. And I think we'll move to the 4-way test, and I think that'll be it, unless somebody has anything else they want to throw at him. First.
Is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
Second.
Is it
Fair to all concerned?
Third.
Will it
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
And fourth.
Will it be
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
All right. Fifth.
Is it fun?
Is it fun?
Fun.
Hey, Drexel, since you came in, Dave Rinkowitz completed his regimen today, and he has a form. Does he have to send that to you for the blue badge?
What's that?
For Dave Rinkowitz has his form, and he's filled it all out as of today. does that go to you in membership?
Well, the mentor would normally send that.
Or, yeah, send it on to me and I'll take care of it.
Yeah, okay. All right, folks, thanks very much. And
All
everybody
right.
have a safe week.
Thank
Everybody
you.
have a wonderful
Thanks, Ryan.
Wednesday.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Great day.
Bye.
Be safe.
Dennis?
Yeah.